What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today I'm going to hit you up with my thoughts and opinions on this new album from J-Rock called Redemption. Now, J-Rock is a rapper out of Watts who signed to Top Dawg Entertainment, and I did think his last two projects were pretty good. I'd say he's a consistent rapper who always shows up for features and with his projects, so I was curious to hear what type of sound he'd be going with here. Would he be singing just like he was on 90059, or would he be doing more of that hard-hitting, gritty shit that I think a lot of people want to hear from him? Now, you do get a little mix of both. He's certainly doing some singing and some mainstream generic moments, which I will touch on, but first we're going to talk about the singles. I do think King's Dead is an alright track, has some banging production, a solid Kendrick feature, as well as Future just sounded like he was eating some sandpaper for whatever reason, but it wasn't an amazing track. It was on the Black Panther soundtrack, and I did have it as one of my favorites on there, but I don't think it's one of the best tracks on here, so that's why I'm not going to list it, if that makes sense. We also got the single Win, just a rambunctious, horn-heavy banger that's going to be made for sporting events and those types of things. But I didn't think this was that amazing either. Didn't really have an overly unique sound to it, but it works for its purposes, so it does get points for that. This track also features Kendrick, who's just doing a lot of ad-libbing on here, including that classic ad-lib, "Mommy," which sounds like a kid begging for some juice or something, but that shit was just hilarious to me, so I fuck with it. And, you know, Kendrick was also featured on the WoW freestyle. This is just an 808 beat with some flutes on it, and they're going on with the bars. They're kind of going back and forth, just verses, no hook, so that track was cool for what it was. Nothing really extraordinary. I wouldn't say you're getting the best Kendrick bars here, but it's a banger. And between these three tracks, J-Rock is giving you those bangers, so if that's what you want, there you go, man. But moving forward, I just think that J-Rock is at his best when he's really just more introspective. Even on that intro track, The Bloodiest, you have him rapping about being out of options and trying to find his way. But then with the song For What It's Worth, I think this is just the standout cut on the project. You're getting this very hazy instrumental that works perfect for night riding, as well as a Brent Faiyaz feature on the hook, which is nice. And here, he really is getting introspective, man. He's going in about what it's like having to choose between the beats and the streets. So he's got one foot in the streets, and he's got this other foot out here trying to make it in the rap game. And then in the second verse, he touches on how you can lose focus so easy and get caught up. If you're out here making money, just fucking all kinds of girls raw, you know how that's going to go. You're going to have baby mamas. They're going to be trying to take everything from you, and they're just going to mess your whole life up. So I like that he was speaking on these things, and when he's getting introspective like this and actually bringing some concepts and themes, it's much more memorable than just the usual mainstream generic shit, you know what I mean? But moving on, one of the other more introspective songs has got to be OSOM with J. Cole. This is Out of Sight, Out of Mind, and it's a very smooth beat as well. I really like this track overall, just aesthetically, everything about it is quite pleasing, including J. Cole's verse. He's going in about his battles with depression, other mental illness, and substance abuse, so he's still on that KOD type of shit, and I just think Cole has been killing his features. We saw what he did on Boblo Boat with Royce da 5'9", and this is another example of a great verse from him. Now, as for J-Rock, he's got a good line on here too. He spits, "One thing that I've learned all these years is to block devils off of my ears, cause fairy tales don't end well when the fame and fortune not here." This really does seem to be a common theme throughout this project. You're going to hear J-Rock many times just rapping about trying to find balance between who he is as a street guy and trying to make it in the music game. And you know, he's got people out here who are going to get him caught up one way or the other. When he has this money and fame, everybody wants to take something from him and be around him. When it's gone, nobody wants to be there. So how do you sort of navigate this and be who you truly are without losing yourself and getting into some bullshit? I thought that was really dope how J-Rock was bringing these ideas. And you're getting more of that on the songs Broke, Plus, Minus, and Redemption. Broke Plus Minus has a beautiful string and piano backdrop. Again, he's trying to find balance. But you know what? He does quote that fake Harriet Tubman quote about freeing slaves. That shit has been proven by Snopes to be false, but people still put it out there. So, you know, I'm just putting that out there. But Redemption really stuck out even more. This one has a very beautiful piano beat on it, as well as a SZA feature, which is nice. And on this one, he's reflecting on how different things would have been if he got killed in his motorcycle accident. He knows that if he died, all kinds of people would be trying to claim they were his friends all of a sudden. They'd be showing up and taking pictures on IG and all that sort of bullshit. So I thought this was an introspective track as well. Very clearly, that brush with death that J-Rock had has him thinking differently about things, and that does show up throughout this project. I certainly appreciate his ability to speak on that because I'm sure it was a hard time. On this same track with the second verse, he's speaking on how his girl was there for him in his hospital stay. He says that she was like an angel. So there are plenty of moments on here that I think show a little bit of growth for J-Rock. And I would also include the song ES Tales in there. This one is just an evil banger. I love the thick bass on it as well as the Mario coin sounds. But conceptually what you're getting here is just some grimy ass street shit, man. J-Rock is still keeping it street, but also dropping a little bit of social commentary. So what he says on here is that Black Lives Matter out here, no way, cops get promotions while the family got pay, which is yet another reminder of the injustices we see on a regular basis. Cop kills someone, the family not only loses someone, but at times they're left having to pay all this shit and start GoFundMes, while the cops get paid vacation. Sometimes they get GoFundMes where people are just paying the money for whatever reason. So I do appreciate J-Rock bringing that onto this track. He's also going to hit you up with some pretty grimy shit just about the violence and degradation that takes place in the hood as well. I really appreciate a bunch of these tracks, but now I'm going to scroll up my notes and we're going to talk about some of these songs on here that I really wasn't in love with. So these are the more generic and mainstream sounding ones. You got Knock It Off. This one is just a very chintzy, sing-songy joint. Then you have the quintessential sex track featuring Jeremiah, and that one is called Tap Out. And you're getting Troopers, which is just some auto-tune shit. These songs all just have nothing new going on with them. I understand why he did them to get that radio play and appeal, but they don't, J-Rock's not putting a unique spin or sound on these in my opinion. His voice is very dull on a lot of these tracks, and out of all these style of tracks, I would say Rotation 112th would be the best. He is doing some more singing on there, but thankfully he rips his flows in the verses so it balances out, and that track wasn't so bad. But those three I mentioned in particular, I feel like even one of those would have been enough, and they do kind of mix things up on this project. On one hand, that is showing you a bit of versatility, so I get it, but I think if he had kept it more tight, like more of that introspective shit, maybe some more gritty shit on there, it just would have been a tighter project overall. But hey man, that's just my opinion. He's got to get those numbers, so I understand what he's doing. But you know what? At the end of the day, this is still a pretty good album, and I'm going to go with a 3.5 out of 5. It certainly has its knocks. I already talked about some of the things I didn't like, but I really appreciate him opening up and getting introspective, and there is some pretty good production on here as well. I would just say it kind of reminds me of Schoolboy Q's Blank Face album, and what I mean by that is you're getting a lot of these great moments that really show you him at his full potential, but then you're getting some tracks that feel a bit fillerish and are a little bit outside of his lane. Like, did you really need these tracks to do the numbers? Probably, yes. But I don't know, man. I just think this would have been much better if he had kept it a bit more conceptual and thematic if you want to make a classic or make an album that people are really going to praise as one of the year's best. But you're still getting some good shit here, just some generic filler as well. That's just my opinion. But you guys can hit me up in the comments section to let me know what you think. And of course, man, make sure you do all that good YouTube and social media stuff where you show me love and you show me lots of it. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.